Come in, Ms. McCoy. I believe we've reached that appointed time, so we will go ahead and call the January 4th, 2021 meeting of the Harnett County Board of Commissioners to order. Trust all of you had a nice holiday, good Christmas, and I think we're all looking forward to a good new year. So anyway, Commissioner Johnson, would you have our Pledge of Allegiance and invocation this morning?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning and gathered as a group of county commissioners and employees, staff. We ask your blessings on this meeting, and we ask for your guidance in your hand in everything that we do, so we will do the correct thing for Harnett County and its citizens. We've just come off a tough, oppressive, and dramatic year, and we ask for your forgiveness for the things that we did that caused the problems, and we ask for your blessings to get rid of the viruses and sicknesses that are going on. We ask for your blessings for 2021 and make this the best year we can. I would ask that you be in our presence and bless us and take care of us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. I believe we have a special announcement this morning. Sheriff Coates, are you going to share that with us?
Yep. And tickled to death to be able to share this with all of you.
Great.
First of all, what I'd like to say is thank y'all for this opportunity that we really took advantage of. This is an award that not many agencies go after, not many accomplish it, because it is a commitment to your office and your employees to show that we want to be among the elite in this country. And once you achieve this award from CALEA, you are recognized globally for achieving this goal. And I could not have done it, we could not have done it if it hadn't been for the commissioners, the county manager, with their support, because it is financial. It cost, I think, Kimberly may have the figures, but Jeff and I this morning were talking somewhere around $14,000 to $15,000. That's software, everything. And the only thing we have after that is just your annual dues. So if it had not been for the groundwork with the commissioners letting us and funding this, this would not have happened. And I'm very proud and honored to have it. But let me first say, if you'll stand up, all three of you. Captain Armstrong, that position was created for looking after CALEA. Mike was the consultant that had done several of these for the state. And Tracy is the one who keeps them straight. She is the secretary and does all the legwork behind it. But they've done an outstanding job because the state gives you 3 years to get this award in. And we've done it 12 months. So that shows you the dedication that these folks had and the men and women at the Sheriff's Office. It improved morale because now you are among the elite. And it's just an honor. So with that, I want to share this with you. And it says, be it hereby known that the Harnett County, North Carolina Sheriff's Office, having fully demonstrated its voluntary commitment to law enforcement excellence by living up to a body of standards deemed essential to the protection of the life, health, and safety and rights of the citizens it serves, and having exemplified the best professional practices in the conduct of its responsibilities, is hereby, upon the recommendation of the members of the commission, awarded this certificate of accreditation effective on the 13th day of November 2020, and it is recognized as an accredited law enforcement agency for a period of 4 years. So the hard work that these men and women did and the men and women at the Sheriff's Office, it would not be possible if it hadn't been for y'all. So I would like to share this with you. If we could maybe do a photo op with y'all with it. And I don't know if any of y'all saw the newspaper last week where Ricky Temple, our PAL program that we started, did y'all see that? Ricky Temple donated $15,000 to our PAL program. Because this year with COVID, so many of Mark's fundraisers were canceled. And Ricky believes in that program, he believes in the sheriff's office. So we were real thankful for that.
Stand right up here.
I'm wonderful, how are you?
Somebody need to grab that in.
I'm a little taller.
You want to grab that?
What's that? No, go right on ahead, sweetheart. I'll
We're just rotating.
Here we go.
Have it.
All right, I can see everybody. Big smile, 1, 2, 3.
How's your neighbor? I live at the bottom of the hill.
Congratulations to y'all. Awesome. Awesome, thank
I
you.
win, right straight down at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Got the white dot.
He's got a news release that we need to send with that.
Okay, cool.
Got a chocolate lab just like yours.
Okay. I think she was gonna scan it and send it to the Daily Record. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
Y'all have a happy
Before you
New Year.
leave, Sheriff, before you and Detective Armstrong leave, I would like just thank you for your commitment and your desire to pursue this. We know this is not something that was required and that you had to do, and that you went above and beyond to do that. And we appreciate your commitment not only to the citizens of the county, but also to the department. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 4 on the agenda, consideration of any additions or deletions to the published agenda. Do I hear any at this time?
Chairman Matthews, we do have several budget amendments that need to be approved today that are before you, and also some entitlement funds, grant funds for the terminal area utility improvements at the jetport, as well as the notice to proceed for that work. So we do have several add-ons this morning from staff.
Okay, and I believe I see budget amendments added on as part of 5B. Is that correct? And
Correct.
okay, and where do we want to add on the terminal area utility grant?
You're welcome to put it wherever you would like. You can do it as 6A, you can move it and do it at the end of everything, just wherever you would like to place it.
Okay. Let's just put it after your report on 11, where new business is there. We'll add that under new business.
And you could just add it on consent as well, if it's not anything you feel like you need to discuss. That's your other option.
Do I have any of the commissioners have a preference to that? Okay, well, let's go back then and can I get a motion to add it onto the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we add the 2 items dealing with the improvements at the jetport to the consent agenda.
Okay, we'll make that item H under consent agenda. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Mr. Nichol?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. McCoy? Mr. Witherspoon?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. So we're adding on the approval for the terminal area utility improvements project ordinance as H under consent agenda. Anything else at this time? Okay, that brings us to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner Witherspoon. Second.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. It brings us to item 6, appointments. Mr. Weatherspoon, would you share those with us at this time?
Yes, sir. We have a number of appointments this morning. The Harnett County Cemetery Board of Trustees, Victoria Rodriguez and Melanie Collins. I move that we reappoint them. And John Hare, I move that we appoint him to this committee. The Harnett County Planning Board, Everett Blake, is interested in being reappointed, and I move that we do that. Harnett County Public Facilities Corporation Board of Directors, Paula Stewart, Steve Ward, and Brian Haney. I move that we reappoint them to serve on that board. The Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, Roseanne Teniente and Kelly Burns. I move that we appoint them to serve on that council. The Mid-Carolina Aging Advisory Committee, I move that we appoint Vicki Walden to that committee. Town of Anger is asking that we approve Lee Marshall for the Town Planning Board and also the Town Board of Adjustment. The Transportation Advisory Board, Barry Blevins, Carl Davis, Valerie Gilchrist, Lisa Guy, Mark Locklear, Angela McCauley, Jotanya McLean, Brooks Matthews, Larry Smith, John Rouse, Katrine Sanders, Mary Jane Sauls, and Eric Truesdale to be reappointed. Larry Smith is, I move that we reappoint him as an ex officio member. Pamela Munger with Sand Hills Center for MHDD and SAS would like to be appointed to serve on that board. Charlotte Leach with Harnett County Workforce Development would like to be appointed to serve on the board. Crystal Pope with Hearts would like to be appointed to serve as an ex officio member. You have applications attached in your package, and that is a motion that we appoint all these people.
Thank you, Commissioner Witherspoon. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Nickel. Any discussion? All in favor of accepting these appointments, Mr. Nickel?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Johnson? Ms. McCoy? Aye. Mr. Witherspoon?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you for that. Item 7, consideration of Harnett County Schools' request to accept the $10 million in grant funding through the Needs-Based School Capital Fund. Ms. Stewart?
Yes, I'd just like to bring this before the board. We were notified right before Christmas from the Harnett County School Superintendent, Aaron Fleming, and they were awarded the $10 million for the Needs-Based Capital Fund program for the new Northwest Harnett Elementary School. So they, if you will recall, we've talked about this several times. They wanted to bring this back before the board. You know, Harnett County will be ineligible to receive the annual public school capital building fund allocations for a 5-year period or the lottery proceeds starting. Since this grant was supposed to be awarded in October, and they had money left over, that's why the school system applied for it, but we would not receive any of the lottery funding for the period October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2025. So we're just before you today to take a vote on it. And I do want to mention that we are going to try to do a joint meeting with the school board in January, hopefully at the retreat or around that time. So just so you know, if you approve for them to accept, if you choose to do this, then you can discuss the details at that meeting, or if you vote it down, it's just totally up to you. So we're just bringing it back before you. If you have any questions about it, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Do I hear a motion on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we allow the school board and the Harnett County school system to accept this $10 million grant.
Thank you, Mr. Witherspoon. Do I hear a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Nickel. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote on the motion. Commissioner Nickel?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner McCoy?
No.
Commissioner Weatherspoon?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Stewart.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8, Harnett County District 11A Veterans Treatment Court VTC request. Mr. Haney, thank you.
Yes. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
The Harnett County District 11A Veterans Treatment Court is asking the board to consider acceptance of the BJA FY 2020 Adult Drug Court and Veterans Treatment Court Discretionary Grant. This grant will provide $500,000 over a 3-year period from October 1st, 2020 to September 30th of 2023. As you know, this item previously came before the board at your December 7th, 2020 meeting, at which time no motion was made regarding the grant. At that time, you were informed that the grant, as approved, would include funding for 2 new positions, a full-time regional coordinator and a part-time case manager, and would have left gaps in funding for several existing Veterans Court positions. Since that time, Veterans Treatment Court Program Director Mark Tichy has submitted a revised budget to BJA that eliminates the part-time case manager position and reduces the regional coordinator from full-time to part-time. It also includes funding for the uncovered portion of the program director's salary and benefits, and includes funding for the existing case manager, field treatment compliance officer, and legal assistant positions. If the revised budget is approved, the BJA FY 2020 grant will go a long way in sustaining Veterans Treatment Court's current scope and operations for the next few years, in combination with the current FY 2019 BJA grant. County staff sought clarification from BJA and were informed that the award must be accepted prior to BJA's consideration of the revised budget. The initial review will be conducted based on the budget that was submitted with the application. There were some concerns regarding how the revised budget treats the program director's position, since a portion of his salary and benefits would be covered by both the 2019 and 2020 grants. We will need to work with BJA to resolve this issue. While the initial deadline for acceptance of the grant was December 6, 2020, which was 45 days after award notification, grantees have been given a, quote, non-definitive time period to accept their awards. However, grantees are still required to submit all mandatory progress and federal financial reports. The county's first reports for the BJA 2020 grant are due at the end of January, meaning approval would be needed in time to navigate the JISC grant system and submit the required reports. During your December 7th meeting, Vice Chairman Weatherspoon also asked county staff to provide quarterly audits of Veterans Treatment Court for the county funds and other funds that are provided, and staff is currently working to provide that document, which will be presented to the board at a future meeting for discussion. And then going forward, once you're satisfied with what is being presented, we will provide those quarterly. With that, Veterans Treatment Court Program Director Mark Tichy is on the phone line today, and I'm available for any questions, as is, I believe, Mr. Tichy.
Thank you, Mr. Haney. Any questions? So let me ask, so do I understand that, I know one of my concerns when we talked about this back in December was the fact that the grant funded would be primarily for expansion of the existing program, and we had some concerns as to how we were going to continue to fund our existing program past end of June, I believe. So I guess my question would be, this rewrite or whatever we want to call it, so does that now alleviate some of that concern we had about how we're going to be able to continue the program, the existing program, past June? Yes,
the revised budget for the grant would it would actually eliminate some of the additional positions. It would you'd have one new part-time position, and then it would also move some of the funding so that it covers some of those existing positions that had, funding was questionable going forward. So it very much so would address some of the current funding concerns. At the same time, Mark, who's on the line, is confident that the the scope of the new grant is what's important, and they would still be able to satisfactorily accomplish that scope with the current staffing. And if Mark has anything that he would like to add to that, anything I've said, I'd welcome him to do so.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. One of the things that
Mark, 1 second. We got to turn your volume up.
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. One of the additional things that this 2020 BJA grant will do is will sustain our day-to-day operations, our supplies. It'll allow us to do call-ins for the veterans that need to call in for testing. The operating mileage that we have, this will provide additional funds for that. It's just is a good fit for the next 2 to 3 years that will help us continue to operate and be the court that we are that's gained both national and international recognition. So,
Mr. McCoy, do you have a question?
I think my question was asked in Brian's report, but I will ask it anyway, but there will be some accountability as to how they spend the money and all of that.
Yes, ma'am. There is a budget that is approved with the federal government, with BJA for this grant, and it is actually monitored and administered by the county's finance office. Jamie Strickland in the finance office handles that.
Thank you. That's all.
Now, did I understand, Ms. Taylor, did I understand you to say that these changes, I guess, are not definite at this point, that we have to accept the grant and then they'll consider these revisions? What happens if they do not go along with these revisions?
I would say, and I will then defer to Mark to answer that question since he has a great deal more experience in that process than I do. But there are multiple processes, and it is fairly regular that you can adjust budgets within these grants. We actually still have the opportunity to make adjustments to the 2019 grant if so needed. So it does not appear to be a very difficult process, and Mark has already laid the groundwork by communicating with our contact at BJA. But that is correct, as you say. Our instructions from BJA was that the grant would have to be accepted first before a request could be actually looked at. Mark, do you have anything to add to that?
just that with the 4 other grants that we've used for BJA and also the SAMHSA grant, it's all every year things change. Additional funds are put in from rollovers and all that, and it's just a matter of presenting them to my contact, our GPO at Bureau of Justice Assistance, and we've got a great relationship with them and have done really well, and we've never done anything that would cause us to be placed in a position of less than honorable. So we've done a great job in the past and will continue in the future.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Any other questions any of the commissioners have? Do I hear a motion to accept the motion for approval to accept the grant?
I'd like to make a motion on that. I make a motion we approve the county the Veterans Court application for the grant, $500,000.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner McCoy. All in favor, please vote aye. Mr. Nickel?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McCoy?
Yes.
Mr. Weatherspoon?
No.
The chair will vote aye. Motion will carry. Will give us an opportunity to see what the revision of that grant looks like. Mark, before you go, if I might ask one other question that really did not pertain to the item at that time. Going forward, my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that these grants are for the purpose of beginning or helping programs to become established, and then at the following that, funding for these programs has to be procured from other means. I guess my question is, with this additional funding that we'll have here, where will we be when the initial grants or the grants that we currently have run out in June with regard to being able to continue to fund the program that we currently have?
We will be in good shape through the next 2 years as far as operating currently with the approval of this grant. And we've already received notification for another grant, and communicating with DHHS, they've got a grant opportunity for us. So, it's a matter of just going there and writing grants and working with the county on where we want to go with this program. I see us only getting better. We've got a great opportunity to impact the lives of these veterans in our county. I see a bright future for us and a long term. There's two types of grants. There's an implementation grant, and then there's a enhancement/sustainment grant, and we've been operating under enhanced/sustainment grant since after the initial implementation grant, and so there's another opportunity out there in the next 3 months if we want to go, and we'll communicate that to the county at y'all's convenience.
Thank you, Mark.
As one point of clarification for the future grant opportunities that Mark has discussed, those are opportunities that would need to come back before the board prior to application so that you have a chance to weigh in and to ask questions prior to those in the future. So that nothing will be applied for on behalf of Veterans Treatment Court without coming before the board.
Correct. That's correct. I definitely want to make sure y'all are in the loop of this.
Well, I definitely want us to be in the loop, and it may, I have to admit that when we first talked about this in December, I did not feel like that I was in a good position from having a basis of knowledge to make an informed decision. I understand the board had changed, and so that very well may have been my fault that I was not as well informed as I should have been, but I certainly want to become more informed going forward. I know Mr. Nicholas had experience with this in his career, so certainly leaned on him for insight, and I want us to have really good communication so that we don't get to a point in the future where we're sitting here looking at a chance that maybe we're going to lose a program, which I understand is very beneficial because we don't have funding. So I want to make sure that we're really looking to the future going forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And part of that communications is opportunities for y'all to come and actually participate and observe our court in action. Our court is unlike a lot of the other veterans treatment courts in the nation. We've definitely got a Cadillac model that we're operating under.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments this morning?
No, good.
Thank you, Chris. Brian, thank you. Okay, we will move on to item 9, consider proposed amendments to the Harnett County Board of Commissioners Rules of Procedures regarding public hearings. Mr. Appel?
Yes, good morning. I've already brought these changes before you at a work session, so I'll kind of briefly go over them again for all those who are listening. But under the current board of procedures, the public hearing section is very limited. It doesn't say much. And pursuant to statute 160A-81, the public hearings can be operated very much like the public comment period. The only difference would be that the public hearing is actually more tailored to the subject at hand. So it allows you to limit it even more. So with the changes to the public hearing, it sets forth the requirements, beginning with under subsection A, what has to be noticed. That'd be the subject, date, time, and place of the hearing, as well as any other information or rules deemed necessary for the hearing. The B section is a lot more important. So this allows you to limit the length of public hearings and or the time allotted for each speaker, either beforehand, before the notice goes out, or actually on the day of the public hearing, depending on who shows up and some other factors. The chairman can actually limit the time, such as if there's a group of people who are going to say the same thing, you can elect a spokesperson to avoid undue disruption for county business or undue inconvenience citizens and attendance for other items. To avoid repetitious comments of a speaker can be limited. And I do want to point out from the last time we met that was added in there under section B, so where it says to avoid repetitious comments of a speaker, that allows the chairman to limit the time. I did add that per your comments, your feedback last time. And then if a time limit is set, the speaker cannot yield their time to another person. So once they're done, they're done. C just goes on to procedures like everything else, going up to the podium and saying your name and address. Under D, another important distinction in these new rules now is the staff and the board is not required to answer any impromptu questions. Of course, that doesn't prohibit you from doing so, but it's just a general rule that you're not required. It's just a chance for the speaker to come up here, say their piece to sway you one way or the other, to vote yes or no on a matter, or just to be heard. So the board and county staff should refrain from engaging in dialogue except to the extent necessary to clarify position or provide pertinent information regarding the subject. And then the board and county staff should not entertain questions from the audience, and discussions between the speakers and members of the audience should be prohibited. And then under E, again, this is much more tailored than public comment period. Again, the comments had to address or be related to the subject of the public hearing, which is a key distinction from the public comment period. And then had to maintain proper decorum, make their comments in a civil manner, avoid personal attacks and obscene and profane language. So those are the additions. Again, based on the feedback and what the discussion last time, I did not add in a specific cap on time limits to allow that flexibility. I know most public hearings go generally pretty quickly without needing a time limit. However, of course, that doesn't prohibit us to see how this goes. If you vote to adopt these rules and see how it goes and feel that a cap would need to be placed, of course, we can always amend it later on if you want to adopt the changes as is. But I'm happy to answer any other questions.
I have a question, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Are these amendments or rules of procedure, should they be announced at each meeting to the public who might speak, or should we do handouts? Because if they don't know, how can we hold them responsible?
Right. So obviously we need to post these for the public to see. It probably would be a good idea for the first few meetings where we have public hearings to go over, either read out some of these rules, or we can provide a handout. You have them in the back if we need to do it that way. It's however method you want to handle it. But I would encourage to go over the rules before the public hearing is opened up, so that way everyone is informed of the new procedures.
All right. Thank you.
One more question.
Yes, ma'am.
In streamlining the most important items in the new rules, so like the time frame and all of that, is it feasible to have the chair to read that out, before each public hearing? Because we don't need to be sitting here and the public not understand the rules.
I agree. I think, because I think we've been doing that with the public comment period too, is going over the rules just so everyone is aware of everything.
Yeah.
That way there's no confusion. And the speakers would actually be aware too that the their time to speak could be limited based on if it becomes repetitious, if it goes on too long, if they're already speaking for 10 minutes and they aren't saying anything new, or again, if there's a group, it'd be a good private reminder
Yeah.
to inform the audience of that.
And it gives the chair an opportunity to control the meeting.
Correct. And that's the whole key of making these changes, is to provide some more guidance, more proper procedures, and so it's not just kind of a free-for-all.
Right.
So that way you can maintain some kind of control while allowing, obviously, the public to speak their mind.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion on the proposed amendments?
I make a motion we accept the proposed amendments as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Commissioner Witherspoon. All in favor, say aye. Mr. Nichol? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McCoy?
Aye.
Mr. Witherspoon?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And moving on to item 10, designation of a voting delegate to the NCACC Legislative Goals Conference.
I can speak on that if you'd like me to.
Sure.
Chairman Matthews. So every year, the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners holds a legislative goals conference. This year, it's on January 14th through 15th, which is a Thursday and Friday. It will be virtual, so whoever attends will just need to log on and attend it virtually. And you can do that here or, from your home, whichever you prefer. But we have to give them our delegate no later than Monday, January 11th. And that's why we're bringing it before you today.
Thank you. Commissioners, is there anyone who would like to volunteer to be the voting delegate for that conference to represent us?
I would say, in the past, it's always been the chairman. And
Well,
if that's all right with the rest of the commissioners, I'll make that motion.
I'll be glad to do it if that's what the group prefers. I see y'all nodding your heads.
Throw them under the bus.
Okay, well, do I have a motion for me to do that? Ms. McCoy, a second?
I second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. I don't think of any no's, thank you. And then number 11, Ms. Stewart, County Manager's Report.
Yes, what I have in your packet today for you, I just wanted to briefly mention the financial report that we've provided. When we went on the new software system, we have not been able to provide that in a format that was easy to read, and also we've kind of revised this monthly format. And so if you'll just take a look at it at your convenience and just let us know if this works for you. We tried to break it down by general fund, the different enterprise funds, the Veterans Treatment Court, all the different, so everything will be included in this one monthly, but of course there's some of those that you wanted to get quarterly reports, so we'll include the monthly, but then we'll also give you the quarterly. So this is just kind of a comprehensive financial report, and it's, again, on the new software, and so just let us know if it meets what you're looking for. Because every board kind of wants to see different things, so we just want to make sure this has the information you need in it. And then the only other thing I have, just so you know, over the weekend, and since the state put out the press release about citizens being able to get the shot starting this week, the state kind of put that out, the COVID vaccine. That is not necessarily true. It may be available starting this week, but counties are limited on the number of vaccines that they have, so therefore we are not going to be able to get to the public this week. So we've gotten a lot of calls, a lot of emails, a lot of web inquiries. We spend a lot of time, and we're also going to try to set up a special phone number for the vaccine at the health department so that they're not calling the general number, they're calling the vaccine line. So we're working on some things to try to avoid the onslaught that we've been seeing over the weekend and today as well. So we will be sending out information on our local vaccination sites and information as soon as it is available. So I'm just wanting to stress to you and the public, if you get calls, don't call the health department. You can, but you're free to call them, but they're going to tell you the same thing I'm saying. They're not ready yet. It may be later this month or even into February before it's really available to the general public. So I don't want to put out any really dates, but just it's not going to be, we know it won't be this week because, again, we're limited on the number that we're getting, and we have to vaccinate the healthcare workers, as the sheriff said, the emergency personnel first, and then we'll move on to everybody else. So just be aware of that. We're trying to follow the state protocol, but the state is putting out press releases for the whole state, which every county is different. So my response to a lot of the people has been, just check with us, read our webpage, call the number that we're going to set up, just like we did when this first started. We tried to get ahead of it, have a page that people can go to, have a number they can call. So we're working on all that to kind of avoid your phone ringing or the health department's line being so busy with just when can I sign up for my vaccine. So we'll just get more information out as soon as we have it, and we'll let you know too. And that's all I have.
Paul, I have a question about that.
Okay?
People are asking me about the side effects from the vaccination. Do you have any information about
I
that?
don't have that information yet. We've not gotten anything officially on that, but as soon as we have that, we'll post it as well.
I think a lot of people are thinking about not getting it until
Right.
they see the side effects.
And I do know that you do not get COVID from the vaccine. It's not a live vaccine. That part I do know, but I don't know any of the specifics of the known side effects yet.
Do you know which vaccine manufacturer is providing the vaccine?
Not here, I do not.
Okay.
And the thing is, we'll get them in, and even if it's the one that has to be stored, we don't have the refrigeration unit to store the cold vaccine, the Pfizer one, but we would be doing it within that 10-day period, so it wouldn't have to be put in that refrigeration unit.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
I just want to say, I'm glad that you have announced that you'll be getting us the information, because I'm already getting calls. And people want to know where to go to get the vaccine. And then there's some thinking it's going to their family doctor, but will it be different sites set up for it?
Yes, there'll be different sites set up. Basically, the ones that we'll be getting, the health department will coordinate it, and we'll set up like a drive-through site somewhere. And we're working on securing locations. In fact, today, I've already made some calls this morning. So we're trying to establish exactly where the sites will be, because if you've seen on TV where some of the sites are, I mean, it can get very congested and traffic can be very backed up and all that. So we'll have to make sure we're getting a place that's easy in, easy out, and won't tie up a main road or anything. So we'll be letting you know. And if you have any ideas, let us know as well.
Any other questions or comments from Ms. Stewart? That brings us to item 12, new business. Is there any new business to come before the board this morning?
Mr. Chairman, I have two items for new business. Kegel Furniture, the old Kegel Furniture building at 1210 NC 2487 in Cameron. Mr. Kegel had moved out of what is now the YMCA and has all his stuff over there and would like to open his store back up. However, he needs to repave his driveway and the parking lot. I think there's a holdup somewhere, I think with DOT not giving him that approval in order to do that. I know that one of the questions possibly was a stoplight in the area. I think Mr. Kegel even offered to pay for that, and then communication went silent between him and DOT. It's just I've got a small business down there in the western side off of 87, and the business owner would like to get that up and running. So if we can look into that, I would greatly appreciate it.
Ms. Stewart, have you heard anything on this prior?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I came up this week.
No, that's okay. Yeah,
That's fine. I was just going to see if there was any.
We have not. I mean, we know about it in the past, but I do know all the DOT workers are teleworking, and we're having a lot of holdups on DOT projects, so that could be part of it, but we can check into it for you.
Thank you very much. And the second item also is, I know it's been brought up a lot, but not much has been done about trash and littering throughout the county, more especially along 87, Buffalo Lake Road, western Harnett side. There really isn't a stretch of land more than a foot that doesn't have a piece of trash on it. Possibly we can get with the sheriff's office to, I know it's been talked about for inmates in the past. I know that there may have been some issues or excuses on why not, but I think we need to hop and pop on that and start getting this trash under control, because it's disgusting.
Thank you. Ms. Stewart, will you make a note and let's look into that?
We will.
as
We'll
well.
follow up with our solid waste director and sheriff's office on that.
Anything else to come before the board this morning? Okay, hearing none. The next item on the agenda is closed session. Mr. Pell, do we need to go into closed session this morning?
We do.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board go into closed session for the following purposes: to consult with county's legal staff in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged concerning the following matters. Kathy Livingston as administrator of the estate of John David Livingston, the second, et al. Versus Nicholson Cahagas, et al. United States District Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina, file number 5:16 CV 00906-B0. Catherine Collins versus County of Harnett, Harnett County District Court, file number 20 CVD 1157. Andre Greer versus Jerry Gilbert, et al. Harnett County District Court, file number 20 CVD 1351. Anderson Creek Partners LP, et al. Versus County of Harnett, Harnett County Superior Court, file number 17 CVS 363. This motion is made pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, section 153-318.11A3.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Witherspoon. Thank you for the second, Commissioner Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we will go into closed session.